So now we're into qualifying through accounting, right? There's a lot of things that, especially from a 3PL, if you work for a 3PL standpoint, that you can bring to the table when it comes to, visibility, and that starts with accounting, right? Accounting's impacted by, and has challenges through, supply chain, logistics, transportation, a ton. And this is the bread and butter. In my opinion, this is when I found out just to go through accounting. I probably didn't start really targeting accounting until about a year on, but it just changed the way of everything. Right. It changed the way I was able to even go. You go to that executive from just doing it, qualifying through shipping, which is good, but it's like you're still having kind of a shipping conversation. You got that diluting your buying power in your pocket, but it's still shipping, right? And the biggest spin down from an executive is we don't handle shipping, and it's the biggest spin down, right? So now accounting, it's finance, and that's something where it's like, well, I'm not trying to. Again, when you get that spin down, I'm not trying to have a shipping conversation. I'm trying to have a financial conversation, and you guys are actually, what you guys are doing from an accounting standpoint is financially impacting the company. So I like to call accounting. Again, I'll put a script in, a generic, not generic. I use it, but it'll give you guys a general idea of how to go about it. But I'll go a little bit more in depth with accounting on this, right? So keep it. You gotta flip the questions to tailor it to accounting, right? So it's like when I think of shipping, you think of shipments. When I think of accounting, I still, because we are legit, we're in logistics, right? But they're not. I'm going to look at shipments and just tailor it to bills. So if I ask a shipping department, how many shipments do you guys do? I'm going to ask accounting, how many freight bills come through your desk on a daily basis? So still the same process as the shipping, but just change your mindset to bills, right? So again, I won't go word for word on here, but some of the questions I'll ask is, how do you receive, again, when you get those freight bills coming across your desk, how do those come across? Are they coming electronically? Do some of them come, through the postal service? Are some consolidated? Usually, I'll give you the basic one is usually like they're coming all over the map, right? They're per shipment. Okay, cool. So again, I know it's probably up and down, and I don't need a 100% accurate number, but just can you ballpark me? Again, same positioning as the shipping, but ballpark me how many bills you see probably a week or even daily. And then again, if they give you, they're all over the map, that's when you still use the same as shipping, but you're gonna say, is that okay? Is it 100 bills a week? Is it 5 bills a week? Is it 15? That medium number is usually where you're going to get at. Okay, cool. And then once I get that, I know that, okay, they're getting billed per shipment, right? So nothing's consolidated. I know that the volume is there, right? Generally from a bill standpoint, you can even ask them, can you ballpark me the spend? They're accounting, right? So I would say that I wouldn't start with that, but I would say, heck, how much do you guys say you spend just on average on a weekly basis? Because, and again, if they give you a little pushback, I would say, listen, I'm not trying to waste anyone's time. And I just want to make sure that you guys are in my ballpark for a customer that that I'll reach out to later on. But again, I just want to make sure that, again, if you guys have a spend of, at least $100,000, you think a year in freight, you'll be a potential customer I could help, right in my wheelhouse. Say that to them. I would say that, right? It's like, you don't want to waste anyone's time. And that's a quick way to get the spend, right? Because again, if the spend's not there because you better have spend for your target customer. You still have to have spend, but you still have to have challenges too. But if I can ask someone, again, you got to feel comfortable with it. But if I can ask someone, hey, do you guys do $100,000 a year? If not, I'll just, I'll make a quick note. But if you do, there's, I work with similar companies that I've been able to save a lot of money with when it came into transportation. And if they could tell me, no, we only do like $20,000 a year. All right, cool. Well, you're probably in a good spot. I'll reach out to you probably in a year from now and see if you guys grown, but I appreciate you let me know on the front end. That's what you can lead with as well. But now back to, okay, we have so now this is we realize they're doing I don't know, we got to spend. They do $2,500 a week in freight. Okay, cool. If you want to get even further with it, I would say on those bills, do you see, and start naming carriers because they don't think of shipping on those bills? Do you see R&L, C.H. Robinson, Blue Grays? I'll ask those questions because then again, if I haven't talked to shipping, that's going to tell me right there. They don't know shipping, right? Accounting doesn't think of shipping like that, but if they're going to know who they pay, right, on those bills. So you can ask that. And then one big one is what's your process like? And then you gotta know these things, right? Why am I asking what the process is like? And then I'll even ask them, because again, you can't just ask what's your process, because there's a million things, right? When you guys are like allocating or like a checks and balance, I know that again, working with similar companies that, they like to do what the shipping department was quoted and then what the actual bill was. Do you guys have a process like that? Do you do that? Oh yeah. Okay. When you're doing that, how do you go about that? Do you guys have do they give you guys those reports, or do you have to manually go through the invoices and then shipping gives you guys some kind of Excel spreadsheet that shows the quotes tied to like a PO number or something like that? Yeah. Okay, cool. So just so I'm hearing you correctly, every week you go through, we say 25 bills to make sure that those bills match what was quoted. Yep. Okay, cool. So when that doesn't, what happens when those don't match up? Well, we try to go to, we go back to shipping. We don't pay it right away. We go back to shipping. They try to fight it or figure out, what's the reason behind it. But, a lot of times we end up just having to eat it as a cost of doing business. Okay, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you giving me some time. Hang up. Now what's your value adds? Your value adds are, well, if you work for a 3PL, you could definitely consolidate those invoices, right? You could definitely send a root cause analysis report every week stating, hey, this is what you were quoted, this is what you were billed. If those bills don't match what they were quoted, you can give them a report of why it's happening. And you as the sales rep should be able to mitigate those if you know why they're happening and get on it on the front end. So that's that this is huge, right? If you could have that, if you could call into an executive having some information from accounting like that, it's like, hey, Mr. CEO, I don't want to have, I get you don't handle shipping, but I'm not trying to have a shipping conversation. I actually spoke with your Cheryl in accounting. She was letting me know that right now she's having to go through manually every invoice to make sure they match what the freight what the shipping department was quoted. And a lot of times that when they don't match up the bills versus the quotes, you guys try to fight it, but more times than not, you're eating it as a cost of doing business. I wasn't sure if you were aware of that, but again, obviously that is a financial impact on your company. I work with similar companies. We have a solution where we're able to build out those reports for Cheryl and show you guys the exact quotes versus what you were billed. And anytime there's a discrepancy, give you a root cause analysis so we can mitigate the times that, again, you're getting dinged for something that, again, you didn't know you were getting dinged for. So you see where I'm going with that. It's a lot more high level. It's a financial impact, takes that executive's mind off of, oh, I don't want to have a shipping conversation because now we're having a financial discussion. And you look like a resource. I always say be a resource, not an order taker. And you can also help Cheryl in accounting by eliminating the tedious work that she guaranteed doesn't want to do and is keeping her from maybe even scaling in her career, right? So that's accounting. The next one is going to be, we're going to go into sales, and then lastly, technology. You don't got to spend so much time on there, but again, I just want to cover base on it just because they're, supply chain logistics does impact those departments as well. So I'll see you guys on the next one, which is going to be sales.